project, something that I always have a lot of fun talking about. Vanessa.
Yes.
Okay. I do apologize.
No problem.
For you, growing up in the U.S., knowing that you were African, how was your experience like?
So, I experienced poverty here, and it felt like for the first time, because life was different. You know, you go from having a diploma and having a good job to having to start over, whether you're a doctor or a lawyer, it doesn't matter. So, you know, my guardian who raised me had to work 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, which meant that I had to hold the household down. And sometimes we were missing things like water or electricity, and we had to use neighbors for help, you know, just like you would in Africa. So, the reason why we didn't experience poverty in Africa was because even if you didn't have much, you had community.
Right.
So if you were hungry, you went to your aunt's house, you ate for the day.
Right.
You know,
you need
you
a babysitter, you have an aunt.
Here, so.
Right. You really, you know, you were lacking,
ride,
but you had community, so you had somewhere to have resources where to get it. So, yeah, that was kind of like my first shock value. I think I remember walking up to the apartment building and being like, which one is my room? Thinking that the whole building was the house, because that's how our houses are in Africa. And so it was a shock to be like, oh, this little cubicle is like the whole house.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that was kind of like my first shock value coming to America.
Any of you two want to chime in on that?
Yeah, well, for me, I moved to the United States when I was 11, so...
Where'd you move from?
From Congo.
Okay.
DRC.
243 in the
DRC?
house.
Tu viens du Congo? Tu parles
243.
français? Hey,
On est ensemble. One Boca.
I knew there was something special about you. So for me, I realized quickly when I was 11 that learning the language was survival for me.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that really helped me survive in this country. And it was a little different. Vanessa over here experienced poverty when she came here, I guess. But I experienced poverty when I was in Africa, and it switched for me because when I came here, there were resources. If you just knew the language, you could survive.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
And then work your way to getting American citizenship, you know?
Yeah, that's another topic.
That's everybody's goal, right?
You know? But yeah, so
Don't let
it's
ICE hear you.
Right, it's been a great experience coming here. It's been a blessing. Just the resources that are here, you can become somebody if you put your mind to it.
Nah, I have to agree.
Anybody in the crowd want to talk about their experience?
I just want to say, don't ever say to come here and to be somebody, because one thing I want to say, don't ever forget where you come from. You are somebody. You've been somebody. And I see one thing about a lot of Africans that do come here, they forget their heritage, they forget their roots, they forget their tradition. And for me to be an American African woman, I don't have that. I don't have no tradition. I have no culture. So don't forget that when you come down here. Y'all are like the strongest, most beautiful
Don't be hard on yourself
people.
either.
You know what I'm saying? No. This is one thing I do admire about Africans that do come here and they feel like they have to come here and they have to adjust. You know what I'm saying? And they don't understand that there's something that y'all really have that's very valuable. You know, y'all actually know where y'all come from. Y'all know, like I said, I have no tradition. When I get married, you know what I'm going to do at my wedding? I'm going to do with the Western thing, like we jump the broom. I'm not going to have my traditional outfit. I'm not going to have,
not gonna buy you a
just
goat.
marry African, you'll be able to do it.
That's
That's true. But, you know, I always wanted to voice that because I know how hard it is for you guys to come here and, you know, you have to, like you said, learn the language and, you know, stuff like that. But honestly, like, my advice is don't forget where you come from.
Yeah, girl. Don't
And-
worry, I forgot.
Exactly. Do not
nothing.
forget.
And when I say become somebody, I don't mean I didn't have value when I was in Africa.
I think you meant the potential.
Just resources that are here. Like if you
But
went
you
to
have to be
Africa,
careful with your
especially
words because
Congo,
the universe do not understand the difference.
right. But if you were from Congo, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I've been to Congo, so I do know what you're talking about. My
You
people
went
are
to
from
Congo?
Congo. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, so you
Yes.
have culture.
On the ensemble.
I do, as an adult, but I didn't grow up with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
So
Did you see the poverty level there?
I do know the poverty.
Yeah.
Right. So-
But I know that all the people
It's
are
in
still very
Africa
happy as
everywhere.
well.
Right.
You
That's
also
different
saw
from
growth,
happiness
like,
and
you know,
Right.
opportunities.
opportunities, and there's also
If you don't
like,
have it, you're not gonna.
I'm not
become-
gonna say no. The states definitely give you a lot of growth, and this is the land of opportunity. I will say that. But what I'm telling you is, while you're seeking your opportunity, do not forget the land that made you.
very
Yeah.
valuable. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can't forget it.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to cut in and say, you know, my coming up, I'm a Grady baby, class of 1988. I'm first generation here. So when I was growing up, everyone was calling me an African booty scratcher.
Ooh,
So I had to experience that.
good point.
I lived in
Good point.
an all white neighborhood, because you know, black people, they think we go all white and then we made it. So I went to Brookwood High School. They make fun of you how you smell.
Your accent.
Your accent. They don't understand it. And for me myself, I'm proud. Like I'm still keeping the culture alive. Like I got my big cousins in here. Like
Cheers to that.
I think the biggest thing is, like you said, don't forget. And then we just got to keep the culture going, because if we don't, nobody else will. If that makes sense.
Exactly.
That's all we got. Y'all are the ones to remind us, like, hey, we are dope. You know, like, we get everything from y'all. Without y'all, like, there is no future for
Absolutely.
African Americans.
That's true.
We got one more.
Oh yeah, but that's it. And really, you know, the piggyback, I guess, right off you is, I mean, that is home. That's home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's so many of us who don't know where we're from. You know, we can't trace nothing back before slavery.
Ancestry.com,
Before we
my
was
coworker did it.
Snatched for y'all. They done stole us, and now we got to pay them back to figure out where we were from, right?
It's actually a better one. We should put it on the link
Yeah, I mean,
later on. Yeah.
What was cool was I worked for a university in West Africa. Haven't had the opportunity to visit, but I just came back from South Africa.
Nice.
And I just loved how much culture, you know, that was there. You know, I met people, you know, and I'm telling people they asked me my name. And I'm telling them my first name. They was like, "No, you go by your last name.
Last name.
That's your
Yeah,
name.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
You tell them that. You know, and this is your
That's true.
tribe." And you know, I had the opportunity to. When I was in the city, I went to Johannesburg. I went to Cape Town, and Johannesburg was built up. Johannesburg reminded me of like New York. Cape Town reminded me of the hood. I was like, hood here. You know, it was a little different. I was like, I like this. You know
That's
what I'm
real
saying?
racist out there too.
They stole my phone and everything, you know what I mean? But the thing was, the more I went out to the rural areas, I was able to really get a sense of the real culture, the roots of
Yeah.
Africa.
Right.
You know, the
How far does your money go out there?
man,
Whoa.
the dollar, we were getting almost 14. I was getting about 14 rands for $1.
That's a lot.
So no, it went long. Man, I drunk good. I did everything
That's
real
what a
good.
lot of people don't
You're
understand.
trying to like make it rain.
When you go
Take
back
that,
home,
take
that money's
that.
going a long way.
But you know, I got a sense of the culture, and I saw how they built like the huts. I was actually able to stay, you know, with some Zulus, and
Nice.
Wow.
they had the huts. They had houses, but each house had to have a hut. Like that was it.
That's dope.
And he was
That's
like,
what's up.
people call these rituals. He's like, no, these are ceremonies.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, so but what I would like to ask is, since you know Congo, I met a lot of people from Congo, and so, and then you from Cameroon.
Cameroon.
But they
So-
speak French just like us, though.
Oui,
Yeah,
oui.
it's the same- right. All of everybody's francophone countries, right?
Yeah.
So, but what is the difference between, let's say, there and somewhere like South Africa that seems to be, you know, kind of more Americanized in those major cities?
Exactly what you said, Americanized.
He wants to answer.
Well, I'll answer.
He
Well,
wants to
I'll go
answer.
first.
Okay, go, Joanne.
So
Joanne.
I'm from Cameroon first, so we have
Hey.
Cameroon, Congo, and all Africa represented. But to go back to the question, I kind of like, for me, I didn't grow poor. That's one thing. It's good to have it. Not everybody is experiencing war, because like in Congo, they have like war. So in Cameroon, they do have war, but in certain parts. So coming here I didn't know where I was going. My mom just said, you know, you have to go to your aunt. you're gonna go to school there, and that was it. So the biggest issue was kind of like the language barrier, and kind of know that, you know, you don't really have family. When I say family, you have some people who come here, they find their brother, sister, everybody here, but I didn't have that, and I still don't have that. So the mindset was different. It's like you have to actually, you know, work harder. Not that you were not working in Africa. I came here as a student at 16 years old. So I went to school in high school. So I got my fair share of the American way of life.
You learn more independent.
Yeah. So I don't know what it means to not have. I would never tell you that, because my mom always took care of us. We went to school, the nicest school in Cameroon. So, but it's good to see other.
Excuse me.
No, I mean, for people, you know, because people have like different stories. I'm not gonna invent something that I don't have. You see, that I never experienced, but I know what it is to be. I know what it is to see somebody who has poverty, and who moves here for different reasons. I didn't move here because of lacking of money. It was just a family reason. So, as far as the question you had about Cameroon and Congo and South Africa, I guess like the media has a great impact on why people go to South Africa and they don't go to Benin, they don't go to Cote d'Ivoire, because most people, as soon as you see on TV, I'm going to South Africa, and most investors are there to make money. I actually have one of my uncle who lives there. He's been there for almost more than 14 years now. So I guess it's what they portray to, because I guess they have like a destination of the year. So they tell you, this prince, this went there. Everybody just rushing to go there.
It probably also has to do with the relationship to the West and how they negotiate things. You know, for example, look at Cuba and how poor they are. It's because they're so cut off from, you know, being able to trade with other countries. And I feel like that's kind of, you know, what happens when they put sanctions on certain countries that, you know, they make it seem like it's super dangerous to go there. But just like you said, in certain parts there are war. Like for us, most of the time it's on the east side, but towards the west and towards the capital city, you know, we live a normal life.
Exactly. So for me, just visit Cameroon anytime you want to.
That's a good one.
Come to Congo.
Anywhere in Africa.
We got one more. What you got?
Now I'm just going to chime in real quick. Back to Cuba. Cuba is not the poorest country in the world. I think that's a misconception. I think that's media that try to make people think that that's the case, and using the embargo as an excuse for Cuba being poor. Cuba has the best medical system in the Western Hemisphere.
Can we still visit there right now or not?
That's besides the point. Now going back to the whole South Africa thing real quick. The reason why South Africa comes off as if it's like the best country in Africa is because
the Mundelas are over there.
When the rest of Africa got the independence in the 60s, they got theirs in the late 80s. So they're still fairly new. And when Mandela being the second president, I think whether it was the smartest thing or the logical thing, he put the British, the white people, in charge of the finance.
Just so y'all know, Mundela means
as
white
opposed
people
to
in our language.
our people, because we tend to mismanage money. That's what kind of kept it going a little bit. The rest of us, we've been independent since like the 60s. We mismanaged the countries because most of the leaders at the time were like recent college grads. Nobody had experience or whatever. So that's the difference between South Africa and the rest of Africa, or Black Africa, anyway. I'm done.
Thank you for that.
We appreciate that. I guess we're going to get into the next topic. Best international artist right now. Let's go. Pop it
Wiz
up.
Kid.
Burna Boy.
I'm between Davido and Burna Boy.
I'm going to tell y'all why I'm a Burna Boy fan. Every song he puts out right now, he can't miss.
Which one? Burna Boy?
It's lit.
It don't matter what he put out. He can put out some.
It's lit.
It's the same thing like Davido too. Davido, for example,
He's had a following for a while.
But right now, though. We're talking
Yeah,
about
right now.
Right now,
Burna Boy.
Burna.
but I mean, but you know, taste, music
You know who we got to
taste.
show some love to? My boy Fali Pupa.
Yeah, he's coming here.
That new song he's got, Imana, slaps.
Go ahead.
Who's your favorite?
Wiz Kid, man.
Wiz Kid,
I
what's
can
yours?
relate to him. He came from a poor place. Not that
didn't
I
know
did.
that.
but-
Well, based on the list that was
Given?
given to us, I'll go with Burna Boy.
Yes, Burna.
Burna Boy can't miss right now.
3-1. Burn.
I'm sticking
I
with
think
We have
he
somebody in
just
the
won
audience.
BET Award for Best International
Yeah, he
Artist
did.
as
He
well.
did.
He's popping right
He
now.
was in Atlanta
yeah.
not too long ago.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
whole
he was there,
concert
like,
was.
And his
fucking
mom represented Africa with the acceptance speech.
And he
Yeah.
doesn't he date Stefflon Don? Stefflon
sure.
Don.
Who is that?
Oh, she's a Jamaican.
She's a Jamaican rapper person.
Oh, yeah, she's
yeah,
sexy.
she hot.
I need to look that up.
Right, we're gonna Google her.
She
after
sings
this.
well. We do have somebody in the audience.
I was asking if you have ever heard of Tobe Ngwanu. He's a Houston rapper.
Huh?
Very, very, very dope rapper.
Cannot say I have.
Yes, he's Nigerian.
Definitely need to check that
Nigerian,
out.
But
Tobe, okay.
very, very dope. Yeah.
Shout
and
him out.
Davido, obviously.
Thank you for putting us on.
Is he on iTunes? Do you know? Is he on iTunes?
Yes, he's
Okay.
big. He's very big. Like, if you listen to his music, you'll fall in love with it. Like, very, very, yeah. Tobe.
Check it out.
What's the best female artist right now, international wise?
International.
What's her name? Yemi
Who's the girl that
Alade.
sings? What's her name?
Yemi Alade. Oh,
I've heard that name too.
I don't know.
I don't know her name, but anyway. Okay.
The
Tiwa
song's hot, but
Savage.
we don't know her
Yeah,
name.
Tiwa.
I'll go for Yemi.
She was holding it down. Yemi Alade.
Yeah, Yemi.
Yeah.
Yemi's good.
Yeah.
She's creative. I like her style.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed talking to you guys.
So we got.
Alright,
What's
next.
that Wiz
This is
Kid?
great.
She did.
I did. I'm down for Wiz Kid, like all the way.
Yeah, he sings.
But we
I mean, we have to
agree.
pick
Yeah.
one.
You say right now, Bert. 3-1.
Okay, perfect.